Jan Logie.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Pleased to rise to take a call on the committee stages Charities Amendment Bill for the Green Party, and we are supporting this through the committee of the House. But as this is my first chance to speak after the quakes, I would just like to add my voice to others in this House, offering my araha to the people of Kaikoura and Marlborough and also those affected in Wellington. I know people in Canterbury are familiar with these shaky times, but it is a new thing for many other people, and it's, you know, we don't underestimate what a toll it takes, and for people that have lost family members and indeed their houses and their dreams, our thoughts are with you. So back to this bill, which has already been started off as an amendment to this, as 4 provisions in the statute. It's amendment bill. And we understand that the Minister put them in and presented them as minor technical and non-controversial changes, which is appropriate for statutes. And through that process, the community sector noticed one of the amendments in there that caused significant alarm for them, and as a result there were 33 written submissions and 7 oral submissions, which is a very unusual thing in my experience for a statutes amendment bill. And there was pretty much general support for 3 provisions, which is what we now see in this bill, because as a committee there was the choice to either just it only takes 1 member in the House actually to say this causes concern and it cannot go ahead. So the committee very constructively said, well, there's concern from the community affected by this bill from 1 provision, so let's move that aside and not deal with that, and let's create a separate bill and provide an opportunity for people to have specific feedback and further the things that did not cause concern, which is what this piece of legislation is, those 3 provisions. And I am very pleased that we did that, and I think the government in supporting that in the House and going through these stages also are taking a step to at least on a surface level restore relationships with the sector that have been damaged over the last, I would say, 8 years, but also by this being brought through in the statutes amendment process. And we know that there were different views on that point, but for us the relationship and the concerns of the sector were primary, so we're pleased to have had that taken out. So what does remain in this that will pass through the House, hopefully without contention, is an amendment that means that a person cannot be an officer of a charitable entity if they've been convicted of a tax evasion or similar offence under the Tax Administration Act. You know, that's just and right, and no one disagreed with that at all. And it also clarifies that if a group applies to register as a charity but doesn't respond to a request for follow-up information or any other notice by the Chief Executive under Section 18 within 20 working days, then the Department of Internal Affairs gets to say, well, basically it's no longer an active application and takes it off their books. And that may not sound like a very long time for some people if you think about charitable organisations. Like a month is often a cycle for organisations where they may only have 1 meeting in that time. But we need to remember this is for an application to register. And it doesn't mean you have to be able to provide all of the information, in fact, just to be able to respond. And that did get the support from the community sector. And we noticed that the Department of Internal Affairs informed us that there were 180 applications in the 2015-16 year where they didn't get that information or anybody replying at all within that time frame. So it is a significant issue for them, and we don't want our systems tied up responding when people aren't responding. Thank you, Mr.